sung by the Roll College School Choir.
We are here. We are ready. Welcome inside the Sudbury Community Arena. I'm Brian Cooper alongside Rick Wyman. Sudbury Wolves welcoming the London Knights to town. First of all, Rick, it's good to have you back on the call. I know you're a little bit under the weather for the last little bit, as I feel like half of the city has been, but it's great to have you back on the call this evening.
It's great to be back, and the thing is, I enjoy hanging out with you and David Bowen, and we're back tonight. And one of the favorite teams that I like to see in this rink is always London, because you never know what to expect. Dale Hunter does not like losing to the Sudbury Wolves, even though he played here. He's always here to make sure that it wins. And last night, the Knights lost 5-2 in North Bay, so I'm dying to see how the Knights are going to come out, if they're going to come out on the attack right from the get-go.
Well, it's going to be an interesting looking lineup for the Sudbury Wolves tonight as the game gets going. A lot of new faces, notably in the crease, making his OHL debut, Bjorn Bronas. He is playing tonight for Sudbury in between the pipes, and the opening draw is won by the Wolves. We'll touch more on the new faces that are in the lineup as this game continues. Wolves get the puck to the center line, and London will fire it right back in, delayed offside, but the Knights will touch up, so play continues. Wolves will get it out to the red line, and London will fire it right up and over the net of the Wolves' crease. Wolves twisting and turning. Artem Gonchar, who's sporting a face mask for the game tonight. Quick up to the captain, Villeneuve. Walton will chase the puck into the London zone. But it's the Knights with a burst of speed coming right back the other direction. Evan Van Gorp, 1-on-2 inside the Wolves zone, and he's going to get hit hard right in front of the Wolves bench.
Nice check.
Waslin for the Knights, jumping into the Wolves zone, an opportunity. Backhand pass, a shot, and it's a goal. First shot of the game, and that's a toughie for the new goaltender, Bjorn Bronas. His first ever shot being taken, as a member of the Sudbury Wolves, and it is just a power move inside the Wolves zone, and it's, I believe, going to be Brady Waslin being given credit for that one, an early 1-0 lead for the Knights.
Well, it started off at least a sequence of plays with a good body check in the Wolves zone, and Gavin Ewell's kind of short on the legwork there in terms of picking up the man in front. Quick shot, it's 1-0 after only 46 seconds, so new guy in goal, he's got to settle in.
And yeah, that could be a little bit rattling. First shot of the game, first goal of the game. Not even a minute in, so play continues. Waslin, London Knights loving that. He's got a hot stick already. He'll jump into the Wolves zone. Shot from the outside comes. There's a good pad save for Bronas. And Henderson will skate it out to Barahowski at the center line. Barahowski lobbing it around the London net. Coming out to play it, the goaltender for the Knights, Sebastian Gatto. Haven't even had a chance to talk about him yet, but he steers it into the corner. Wolves pressing now with a little bit of pressure. Blake Clayton on the forecheck out there with Barahowski, but it's Henry Brestevich, very well-known name in the hockey world.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure. Raked in lots of points the last couple of seasons. London's going to do a wholesale line change, and they'll settle things down in their own zone as Jackson Cover, who's currently ranked number 5 among rookies in the Ontario Hockey League, will skate it out. Cover Drops it at the red line. Cover's got a pretty wild story. Just his 5th year of organized hockey, and here he is lighting it up in the Ontario Hockey League. Puck inside the Wolves zone. Provorov for the Wolves will cycle it around the Sudbury net. Pressure coming from London. London ranked number 2 in the Western Conference coming into the game tonight. Wolves, of course, have had a troublesome start to the season. London inside the Wolves zone. They're hovering and buzzing around that Sudbury net right now. London pushing and shoving around the Sudbury net as Brady Smith, the defenseman for the Wolves, loses the puck. And so London will regain possession. Knights take it into the corner. Smith, another chance, and this time he gets it back to Artem Gonchar. Gonchar, forward pass to Alex Ferran. Ferran across the red line for the Wolves. Cuts across, glides, takes a shot high up, way up, almost over the mesh. It hit the mesh, out of play. Almost 3 minutes gone in the first period, so it's a 1-0 lead for London.
Don't mess around with the Knights in your own end. The Wolves have got to get that puck out quickly, effectively, and use the boards, use the glass, quick passes, do whatever you've got to do. Don't give this team a chance to set up.
Face off inside the London zone, won by the Knights. They're just going to lob it to the center ice area, picked up by another new face, Ben Radley, making his debut in a Wolves uniform tonight. We'll touch on him as soon as we can. Anderson making his way forward, helped out by Ethan Dean of Sudbury on the forecheck. They actually kind of ran into each other. Rookie forward Braden Bennett in along the boards. Again, if you're just joining the broadcast, a shout out to you. Say thank you for tuning into the broadcast tonight. London firing the puck all the way into the Sudbury zone. Gavin Ewells, one of the more veteran defensemen for Sudbury. Forward pass across the center line. This will likely be an icing call against Sudbury, and it was going to be. And so a faceoff comes right back into the Sudbury zone.
Let's go back just a couple of days. Wednesday night, pretty good performance by the Wolves, even though they came up short by a score of 5-2. You were here, you saw the game, I didn't, but from what I heard from a lot of people, it was one of the better efforts of the season, and they played a more physical game, the Wolves did, and certainly had their chances before Barry popped in a couple of goals in that third period.
Well, you really felt for Owen Leonard on that night because he was playing really well, and one of those I know for sure he wanted to have back, and then boom, boom, a couple goals within a minute, and then Barry, of course, getting the open net, and that was all she wrote for Wednesday night. Play continues right now at the Sudbury Community Arena. London back into the Sudbury zone, pouring the pressure on at the blue line. Rostevich couldn't hang on to it at the blue line, so he's just going to have to retreat a little bit. Wolves trying to change up a little bit. London looking to take advantage. London Knights cycling it around. Deep inside, another new face for Sudbury. Zach Wilson, a big defenseman just acquired from the Saginaw Spirit, making his debut in a Wolves jersey tonight.
He's huge.
He is very, very huge. I believe 6'7", 6'8". He's a big kid. And now Wolves will come back. Kieran Walton burst of speed into the London zone. Opportunity, trying to pull it in front of the London crease. Couldn't quite get there. London Knights will regain possession inside their own zone. They'll move it to the red line. Van Gorp gliding with speed down the wing. Van Gorp wraparound opportunity. The goaltender Bronos was down. Puck stays inside the Sudbury zone, and speaking of new faces, another one, Nathan McKee, playing defense for Sudbury tonight. A slew of injuries on this Wolves roster. Chase Coughlin, as the Wolves are still chasing and looking for their first shot of the period. They're inside the London zone right now, not for long. Here comes Woolley for London, eventually into Wolves territory. Woolley pass out in front. Good defensive play made by Chase Coughlin. London, another shot from the outside. Looked like a pad save made by the newcomer goaltender, Bronas. Another shot comes, pad save for Bronas. As now looks like he's settled in a little bit more.
Got to feel that puck, Coop. You've got to get a feel, and you know this is a new team, a new situation for them.
London still inside the Sudbury zone. They're moving the puck around viciously right now. Around the Sudbury net, back to the blue line. Picked up by Fink. Wilmot for London. London Knights doing a great job keeping it on the outside, but now some good active stick work for Hudson Martin, the defenseman for Sudbury, lobbing it to the center ice area. 14:20 to go in the first period, 1-0 for London. Waslin scoring early, first shot of the game. London again inside the Sudbury zone. Wolves are being kept heavily inside their own territory so far in this first period. Gonchar, good active stick as he's going to settle things down, but not a whole lot of time to think as the Knights are right in forechecking. Anderson now burst to speed into the London zone, gets hit hard, but still has the puck. A shot from the outside blocked, ends up in the glass, and the Wolves will keep it in. Yule's shot comes high and right over the net. It'll be picked up again by Smith, who will pop it into the corner. Provorov was waiting. Now the Wolves with a chance to get some pressure going. Blake Clayton does, and look out as the puck dribbles into the Sudbury zone. That's how hard that pass was. Yule's had to come back in a hurry for Sudbury. 13.5 to go in the first period. London Knights just barely keeping it in, and the linesman says no. Looks like an offside call is made, perhaps.
So what do you make of the goaltending change? Finn Marshall has left the team, and Bjorn Baronas is now the new guy from the USHL coming in. Numbers don't look too shabby. And again, is he the guy that's going to kickstart the Sudbury Wolves with goaltending in addition to Owen Leonard? But you also have, or you still have, 3 goaltenders with Carson Chartier as well. So could be in one night, out the next. We'll have to see what happens. But again, that move, of course, he was drafted in 23 by the Wolves and is committed to going to university, but wants to play OHL, getting a shot now. So again, lots of changes in Sudbury. Don't forget, trading deadline coming up in the league in just over a month's time by January 10th.
Face off just outside of the Sudbury zone. It's won by London. They'll fire it right back into the Sudbury area. Shots 3-0 in favor of London. And they've got the only goal of the period so far. Puck is still kept inside. London is being pretty tenacious on their forecheck right now and showing quickly why they are where they are in the Western Conference. Another shot, and there's a blocker save. Now we got some rough stuff in front of the Sudbury net. Some pushing and shoving, and it's Brady Smith. You don't see a lot of this from Brady Smith, the Wolves defenseman. And there was just some serious traffic in front of the net. Van Bommel was standing there. A couple left hooks, right hooks as well. Referees separated them. No penalty box doors are open, but it's good to see a little bit of grit like that coming from Sudbury at this stage, because honestly, London has had possession in their end for 95% of the period so far.
And the shots on goal are indicative, 4-0 for London. But don't forget, a lot of grit for London last night after they fell behind the North Bay and really got physical in that third period at Memorial Gardens last night.
Face off inside the Wolves zone. Draw one by Sudbury. Yules does a nifty little switcheroo behind the Sudbury net, and he'll get it back to Brady Smith. So again, no penalties called as the Wolves will fire it into the London zone. Chase Coughlin, who had a real gritty night this past Wednesday at the Sudbury Community Arena as the Barrie Colts were in town. He's on the forecheck, but here comes London back the other way, an opportunity. Wolves again inside their own end. London controlling the play. London a pass out in front. Shot comes deflected by the stick of Nate Villeneuve. London continuing to press inside the Sudbury zone. 12.5 to go on the first period. Coughlin putting it off the glass, across the center line. As Jackson Cover, make that Henry Brustevich, will put it to the center line. Creets for London will deflect it in. A wholesale line change coming for the Knights. Wolves move it out. Chase Coughlin off the boards. Deflected into the London zone. Brody Cook, the defenseman back there for the Knights. Quick up to Logan Howry. Howry can't get far. Braden Bennett played him beautifully, the rookie forward for Sudbury. Puck is inside the Wolves' end, and the Wolves are stripped of the puck. A shot comes, stick save made by Bronas. Another good one for him. Wolves take it back the other way. Ethan Dean, who is from London, Ontario, by the way, firing it into the Knights zone. Howry moving it out for London through the neutral zone. London recoups in their own ends. Now a forward pass, and in a hurry gaining access to the Sudbury zone almost halfway through this first period. Wolves still without a shot.
Knights so good, so quick on that transition, Coop. And the passes, the short, quick passes.
London Knights will skate it out of their zone. Cross the red line as well. Nearly offside. Play continues, and now a steal as Barahowski will be off to the races for the Wolves across the red line, waiting for help. Berehowski's shot comes, and there is the first shot of the game for Sudbury so far. Good stick save for the goaltender, Gatto. Another opportunity for a shot from Villeneuve. Make that McKee, shot, it went wide. Rebound will be picked up by Henderson. London Knights hemmed in their own end for the first time this period as Henderson puts the puck back to the blue line. Hudson Martin cross ice to McKee. McKee, a wrister, glove save, rebound in front. And you know what? The Wolves, give them credit. Couple high quality scoring opportunities. McKee all the way back for Sudbury. He'll hand it off with Martin. This is a London Knights club where you have to think incredibly fast of your decisions. Wolves, another pass out in front of the London end, and it's picked off by Wilmot. Knights will take it through the neutral zone, eventually lobbing into Wolves territory. Around the Sudbury net, bodies clash directly behind the goaltender Brodas, who's been hounded so far in this one. 1-0 in favor of the Knights. Shots 5 for London, 1 for Sudbury. Knights jumping right back into the Sudbury zone. Here they come. They put the brakes on in front, and a steal for Alex Ferrand, who turns it back the other direction. Alex Ferrand drops. Opportunity coming for Sudbury. Backhand for Chauvin. And that one goes wide, and then Ferrand throwing a heavy hit in behind the London Knight. That's what you got to see a little bit more of as well. London back into Wolves territory, past the halfway mark of the first period. London continues to move it around. Sam O'Reilly, a Tampa Bay prospect, back to the blue line. Brestevich shot comes, stick save made by Bronas. And the Wolves, hemmed in their own end, they cough up the puck as London is pressing, and good on Alex Ferrand coming back to help out defensively again to clean things up. Sudbury breaks loose across the red line. London firing it right back in. Around the Sudbury net is big Zach Wilson. Played a little bit for the North Bay Battalion, but of course being brought over by the Saginaw Spirit in a trade. Some draft picks went the other direction for Sudbury, and look out, big collision inside the London zone between Villeneuve and Jared Woolley. London right back into Wolves territory. And a penalty is going to come as Chase Coughlin is not happy, and we got some extra pushing and shoving. Coughlin is not happy with Jared Woolley, I believe. As they continue to push and shove, Coughlin would love to get an extra minor from the London side of things, but Woolley's not having it right now.
Well, Coughlin knew he was going to get dinged for that minor, so he was just trying to grease things up and maybe get some retribution there. But he'll be in the box for the first power play. But a little bit of a buzz from the Sudbury Wolves. Managed to get a shot on goal earlier, and again creating some excitement around the London net. But again, that transition game for London ever so quick. And don't forget, Coop, this is not the team that won the Memorial Cup last year with Easton Cowan in the lineup. This is a team that's, well, hate to use the word rebuild, but kind of biding their time and filling some gaps and allowing some of these other players to get some experience.
Inside the London zone, Knights are on a power play, and they are ranked number 7 in the OHL when it comes to the man advantage. London breaking across the red line, looking to make this a 2-0 hockey game. Wolves need a big PK right now as Ewells put it off the glass, and puck will be fired out, courtesy of Blake Clayton. However, it went into the Sudbury bench, so another whistle on that play.
Not a bad crowd for Friday night. Parking, of course, at a premium after the city removed some spaces. Getting ready for the new arena right across the street. So again, everyone looking for a parking spot, getting to the game in time, and a nice crowd to welcome back the Wolves on this Friday night.
Face off inside the Sudbury zone. Draw is won by the Wolves, and Brady Smith, the defenseman for Sudbury, could not get it fully out. Brestevich will keep it in for London. Wilmot looking back to the blue line, and a good steal for Brady Smith, who will put it off the boards and all the way out. Good active sticks for number 57 of the Wolves. Dean is on the forecheck inside the London zone. Taken down hard, and he's got to hustle to get back defensively. And now Sudbury a steal as Dean blows a tire again. He looks down at his skate. He might have a skate issue.
Might have lost an edge.
And it happened twice, and so he's going right back to the Wolves bench to have a look at his blade. And his skate is going to be worked on. London into Wolves territory. Shot comes high, way wide. Power play has 45 seconds left. London now set up inside the Sudbury zone. O'Reilly around the Sudbury net, picked off by Brady Smith. And the Wolves a chance to clear, and they do. That time courtesy of Clayton, who gets a lot of PK time for the Sudbury Wolves club. Play continues. Ben Wilmot for London. Quick up to Van Gorp. Van Gorp had a pass that went beyond him, and Nate Villeneuve, the captain for Sudbury, spin-a-rama move, and he gets the puck right back into the London zone. 20 seconds to go on this power play. Alex Ferrand is pressing, and it will be Cover for London. Burst of speed. He blew a tire. What's going on out there tonight? He just fell. Wolves get the puck the opposite direction, deep into the London zone. Villeneuve fell. Is there something going on with the?
Maybe it's too soft. It's certainly not hard. The ice here is normally softer.
Interesting. We've seen that from 4 different players now. Either way, things you didn't expect to talk about. Wolves did kill off the penalty, by the way, so London 0 for 1 on the power play, but they're back in a hurry inside Sudbury zone. 6.5 to go in this first period. A pass from London that goes all the way back in their own zone onto the stick of their goaltender, Sebastian Gatto. Woolley all the way back for London. Stretch pass, and the Knights will gain access to Sudbury zone again. Cook misplays the puck, and now big 6'6" defenseman Wilson gives the puck up for the Wolves. London, maybe another opportunity. Shot comes, and it goes wide. Pressure's being put on by London again. Opportunity for the Knights. Cross-ice feed, as there was a London skater going back door, and he misplayed the puck. Another shot stolen from the Knights. Braden Bennett will take it to the center line. It'll be stopped at London's blue line, and the Wolves will regain possession. London retreating in their own ends. Chauvin on the forecheck for Sudbury. Chauvin gets run into hard by the London defenseman. And the Knights with a chance to move it. Not yet, says Provorov. Provorov will keep it deep for Sudbury. Good pressure. This time the Knights do. Themis up to Hawkins, who's taken down hard in front of the Sudbury bench by Brady Smith. Man, he's had a heck of a period for the Wolves. London a shot from the blue line. There's a glove save for Bronas. And now Brady Smith and Hawkins mix it up. A couple left hooks too, so we're seeing a bit more of a grittier Sudbury Wolves club. I mean, we saw this on Wednesday night too, but London showing what they're made of here tonight.
Nothing wrong with Smith. Nice check in front of the Wolves bench, and you know what? There's got to be a physical presence somewhere in this Sudbury Wolves lineup, because you can't underestimate the need for physical play, because if you don't have it, Coop, teams will simply come waltzing into Sudbury and take advantage of your players. So there's got to be some pushback, and you've got to have guys that are willing to dish it out as well. So the goaltender making his debut for Sudbury tonight, Swedish descent, Swedish-American, Bjorn Bronas. He's an 18-year-old from the USA, but again, with Swedish descent. I kind of figured that out with a name like Bjorn.
Yeah, Bjorn. He is set to play for the Minnesota State University NCAA, but he's played for the Sioux City Musketeers, he's had quite a bit of hockey there, and actually tonight he's sporting some green pads, green trapper, green blocker as well. So this is literally his debut in a Sudbury Wolves jersey tonight, and after allowing that first goal, he has really settled in nicely. Inside the Wolves end, face-off won by London. They get a shot off, and it goes high and way wide. Wolves trying to clean it up defensively. Yules being pressured by 2 different Knight skaters. And London is just so quick on the forecheck, and again they cause a turnover. London opportunity, pass out in front. What a pad save for Bronas. London maintaining possession and an ovation from the fans. That was a monstrous save after the Wolves coughed the puck up in their own end. 4:45 to go in the first period. Shots 8 for London, just the 1 for Sudbury. Knights another chance to shoot. This time they fumble the puck. Another shot from the outside for London. That one just goes wide. Wolves unable to get out of their own zone. Van Bommel. Cross-ice pass to Brstevich. He puts it to the side of the Sudbury net. London another shot, purposely wide. Knights keeping it to the outside. Opportunity at the blue line for London. Braden Clark shot, blocker save made from the goaltender Bronas. That time it was a glove save, but rebounds picked up by London. Knights again moving it around, kept on the outside. Mitchell for London around the Sudbury net. Brstevich helping out, and now Barahowski draws a penalty as his stick was slashed out of his hands, and that is going to be an easy penalty call to make for the referee, Rick.
Oh, too easy. Too easy. Anytime you have someone take a whack at your stick and knock it out, you'll get the call for the slash. So this is Van Bommel going off. He was involved in a few punches earlier on in the period. So again, you want to get testy? We'll see what happens.
I think they actually had the wrong player in the box.
Wrong guy? Okay.
It's going to be the rookie Jackson Cover going off to the box.
And you said this guy's only been playing hockey, organized hockey, for 5 years?
5 years. We'll touch more on him. Really, really cool story. Very similar to that of David Levin.
I was just thinking about that.
Roller hockey.
See, we're working too long with each other. We're starting to think alike.
Face-off inside the London zone. Draw is won by the Knights, and they make no mistake in sending it the distance. As the Wolves, their power play coming into the game tonight, by the way, right smack dab in the middle of the league. Almost ranked 8th overall. Wolves get the puck into the London zone, but active sticks push it right back into Sudbury's territory. Wanted to mention London's, their penalty kill, #1 in the OHL. They've only allowed 10 goals while shorthanded all season long so far. Wolves jumping across the red line. Walton a forward pass, and that was scooped up by Woolley, and so the Wolves will have to regroup in their own end again. Walton dropping for Gonchar. Gonchar to Walton, quick up to Villeneuve, who will dance into the London zone. Nate Villeneuve, he gets a setup on the power play. At the blue line, Gonchar loves to shoot, hands off to Barahowski. Villeneuve, cross-ice feed to Walton, to the side of the London net. Pass out in front, Villeneuve couldn't shoot, but gets it back to the blue line. Nate Villeneuve, saucer dish to Walton, to the side of the London net. Opportunity shot for Chauvin, and it went wide. Wolves just barely keep it inside the London zone. 2:45 to go in the first period. Walton cycling it around. Good puck movement from this power play. Gonchar, cross ice to Walton again. Walton looking forward, drops for Chauvin. Chauvin's shot comes, that's blocked by his own man, Barahowski. Barahowski will put it back to Gonchar at the blue line. Gonchar, Villeneuve on the outside. Back to Gonchar at the blue line. Gonchar, quick up, gives the puck away, and London a chance to clear, but they cannot do so. Sudbury, great job on the power play right now. Chauvin, back to the blue line. Walton, cross-ice feed blindly. Nobody home. The Wolves will maintain possession, just barely. Villeneuve, cutting across the middle. Villeneuve hands it off to Walton. Walton on the outside, pass out in front, a shot, and they score! Barahowski, a power play marker after some fantastic power play movement from this Sudbury squad. That is a monstrous goal.
Well, Walton doing the legwork, getting the puck, making things happen, but prior to that, some good passing. I was about to say Gonchar should start shooting the puck more often. He's dishing it off. Good setup there, and again, right place, right time as Walton sets up Barahowski, and we've got a tie hockey game late in the opening period.
Second goal of the season for Daniel Barahowski. Walton will pick up an assist, which means it's now a 6-game point streak for Kieran Walton as well. That's been a highlight point for Sudbury as he continues to produce as the puck is fired into the Sudbury bench. Man, what a solid power play against this #1 ranked penalty-killing London Knights squad, and that pass out in front was just beauty from Walton.
And prior to that, the Knights were doing a good job of boxing out the Wolves, not allowing any shots. But after the opportunity actually opened up, Walton feeds Barahowski, and there you go. You make one mistake, Coop, and we got a tie game.
Villeneuve picking up the secondary assist on that one. Nate Villeneuve coming into the game tonight, too. Also now into the top 20 scoring race in the OHL. Play continues. $1:40 to go in the first period. 1-1. After London will take it back into the Sudbury zone. London Knights pass out in front, cleared by Hudson Martin. Bennett, stretch feed for Coughlin, who was nearly sprung on a breakaway. Coughlin deep into the London zone. Bodies are flying as it's going to be, looked like it was going to be a 2-on-2 rush. Wolves fire the puck back into London's territory. This has been a fast first period, that's for sure. Creets into the Sudbury zone. Over to Hawkins. Hawkins around the Sudbury net. Pass out in front. Good defensive work done by Chase Coughlin, who was trailing. It's those little details. It's that one from Chase Coughlin that just prevented a scoring opportunity for the Knights. Ben Radley for Sudbury. Can't keep the puck inside the London zone, so the Knights will come back. Opportunity, stick check. Where is it? Takes a wicked bounce in front of the Sudbury net. London will find the loose puck. Here's a shot. Pad save made for the goaltender, Gronas, as he kind of looked left and right real quick. That went through a screen. As they say, the puck had eyes, but he makes the save nonetheless.
Well, he dropped down to his knees, and he managed to smother that puck with a couple of Knights in front. So again, rebound control essential. You know those Knights are always sniffing around for a loose puck, but the Wolves holding down the fort defensively. 43 ticks left here in the period.
Face off inside the Sudbury zone, and it's won by the Wolves. Sudbury a chance to clear, and they do. However, it's taken over by London. They get it at the center line. Puck is going to go straight up in the air. Nearly bobbled into the Wolves bench. London will get it right back. Wilmot. Nice move at the red line to get it up to Howry. Howry, saucer dish in front. Looking for the loose puck was Brody Cook. Where's the puck? It was caught in the equipment of Hudson Martin for a split second. London will recoup the loose puck. Another shot comes. Good block for Nate Villeneuve. Into the mesh and out of play with now 11 seconds to go in this opening period. What pace so far in this opening frame. And you know, the Knights have dominated the most part of this period, out-shooting Sudbury 11-2, but you have to give that power play some huge props for Sudbury to make this a tie game.
Good to see one of the better efforts on the power play with the extra man this season for the Wolves. It looks like slowly but surely some of the aspects of the Wolves play starting to come up, getting it together. Still plenty of time, Coop, still plenty of time.
Face off inside the Wolves' end. Final 5 seconds of the period are going to tick down. Puck is in along the boards. London, maybe one more opportunity. Shot comes, and it's blocked by Hudson Martin, and he'll take it into the corner. Good block from him. There's a little bit of pushing and shoving at the tail end of the frame, but nothing more transpires from that. Crazy first period. Shots end up being 11-2 in favor of London. Rick, we see the debut of the goaltender Bjorn Gronas, who does allow the first goal of the game on the first shot of the game, but you know what? After that, he really dialed in.
Well, he settled down, and the thing is, that's the key, because some goaltenders can get rattled. David and I have talked about that time and time again, both being goaltenders that have not made it to the OHL. But needless to say, it's one of those scenarios where you've got to get that feel of the puck, and he settled in a couple of big saves, and again, that's why it's a 1-1 hockey game. But let's talk about the period momentarily. London started off really well. A lot of chances, a lot of misses. Then after all of a sudden, Sudbury gets an opportunity to go on the power play. They start showing a little bit of moxie in there, started to get physical and doing their thing, and kind of took over in that latter half of the first period.
It's amazing how momentum can swing just like that, right? So the only goal for London, an unassisted marker from Waslin, his 10th. That was, and London Knights went 0 for 1 on the power play as well. And then Sudbury gets one from Barahowski. Kieran Walton extending his point streak now to 6 games. And Nate Villeneuve continuing to creep his way up as well in the OHL scoring race, now in the top 20 as well. So crazy first period. Some new names in the Wolves roster. We barely even had a chance to touch on Ben Radley. We talked a little bit about Zach Wilson, who made his appearance tonight, and a few others as well. So Rick
the huge Zach Wilson,
6'6". He's a big body back there in the back end. You can see what the Wolves were going for. Just some little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Just a solid presence back there, and they're going to get that from Zach Wilson. Rick and I will step out. We'll be back in about 15 minutes time for second period action. 1-1 after the opening period between the London Knights and Sudbury Wolves. You're listening to Wolves Hockey. We'll be back in a bit.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Wolves Nation, a big round of applause for the Greater Surrey Ring Association.
Jules here in the blue line, joined by Nolan for the Carpenters Union $10,000 shootout. Ted Cameron, how do you feel about this shot?
Pretty lucky tonight.
I like it. Well, let's keep that lock going. One pump, one shot, $10,000. All right, there you go. Move it as please. Please stay on the blue line. And with some words of encouragement, there's $10,000 on the line. Whenever you're ready. I really felt that one. Oh my goodness. How does it feel? Like third in a row to be just to stay too close.
Yeah, I almost made it in there, but you better luck next time.
Grant, thank you for playing. Don't worry, you're still going to the Hockey Hall of Fame. Thanks for playing.
Adventure Big. All new Nissan Mark.
Bear's reputation is strong commitment to match exceptional talent with opportunities in the mining sector. With one of the most extensive databases of skilled laborers in mining, manufacturing, and industrial sectors in Canada, Bear's approach ensures faster talent identification and better job fits. Whether you're seeking recruitment support in general labor or construction and mining, our expertise will equip you with seasoned professionals that align with your requirements. Talk to us today.
The sales force from Sunday. The business communications platform that does a lot more than that. Like send or receive text messages from your business team. The SourceForge business communications platform. The Stars on Ice Holiday Tour is moving to Sudbury. With skating icon Elvis Stoico, Olympic medalist Kevin Osmond, Olympic gold medalist Ekaterina Godieva, and a cast of world-class skaters. Stars on Ice, a special holiday performance. One night only, December 13th at Sudbury Community Arena. Get your tickets at starsonice.ca.
Fans, don't forget to catch your Plan Forward 50/50 tickets before the end of the second intermission. You can scan that QR code right in front of you, or go to planforward5050.com as well and find your nearest associate. Get your tickets now before the end of the second intermission. Huge shout out to our game sponsor tonight, Northern Nissan. Keep it local and loyal with Northern Nissan's Lincoln Rewards program, where clients receive exclusive daily discounts, collect points through referrals, servicing, and accessories, and put towards future purchases. Members also receive service gift certificates, free detailing, and so much more. Already owning Nissan? Existing customers can receive a 0.5% interest rate reduction on select vehicles. For more details, drop by the dealership at 1000 Decatur or visit northernnissan.com. Wolf Nation, please welcome back to the ice, your Sudbury!
Welcome back inside the Sudbury Community Arena. Brian Cooper alongside Rick Wyman getting set for second period action, tied up at ones. And first period was wild. London did dominate majority, but then Sudbury with that power play gift that they were given. Daniel Barahowski, his second of the season from Walton and Villeneuve, tied things up. Simply a monstrous goal. A few other new faces in the lineup tonight. Honestly, the period was so fast, didn't even have a chance. Ben Radley making his debut in a Wolves uniform tonight. 18-year-old from Iroquois, Ontario. Iroquois Falls, Ontario. Playing majority of his time with the Stouffville Spirit, but he's also played with the Brantford Bulldogs of the OHL too. So he has OHL experience, and this is his debut tonight as the Wolves obviously handling a lot of injuries on their roster right now. Been looking for some of those new faces to step up.
Well, this is a great opportunity, Coop. I should have mentioned this in the first period. When you have the newer faces, and if they succeed at what they're doing, what does that say? That adds a layer of depth to your lineup. And again, you can plug and play.
Well, the puck is dropped in the second period, won by Sudbury. Henderson pulls it back to his defenseman, Martin Ewells now. Quick up at the center line. This is likely going to be an icing call against Sudbury right off the hop.
Right up the middle, like
12 seconds in.
Lay a stick on it, do something, but Ewells with that pass to Never Neverland. So here we are, just 12 seconds in. So London scored early after the 46-second mark of the first. 1-0 lead. Sudbury came back, and that's where we stand.
Face off inside the Sudbury zone. Draw one by London. They got a shot off, and it was deflected by Speedy Rowan Henderson. Henderson to Barahowski. And yes, I'm still committed to that nickname sticking on the organization.
We talk about you all the time. When David and I are doing the games, it's always Speedy.
You're going to love this. I actually met Rowan's dad on the weekend. He was at one of the home games here at the arena, and he brought that up. And he said, hey, I listened to your call, and we've heard the nickname Speedy Henderson. And so I said, I am hoping that this is going to stick
and he
at
likes
some point. He was in favor of it, absolutely.
What does Rowan think?
That's a great question. I have no idea. I'm going to assume that he likes it, as there's a whistle on the play. But, you know, I had nothing but good things to say, obviously, about Rowan. A great family, and his dad, too, just a solid guy, talking a little bit about his journey leading up to this point and how Rowan, and he said, maybe I'm biased because I'm his dad, but he's the type of player that never gives up on a play.
Well, we've seen that. We've seen that since his first game here last season when we checked him out against the Sioux Greyhounds one night in exhibition play, and it's been constant development last year and into this season.
Well, play continues, not even out of this first minute of the second. Puck back into the Wolves' end, and London's pressing right off the hop. Villeneuve back to help out defensively, though. Villeneuve around the Sudbury net, stick lifted, and so the Knights will now toss it around the Sudbury net. Radley, who I was talking about, playing now, battling for the puck behind the Sudbury net. It goes to the blue line. Rister coming, blocker save, for the goaltender Bronis. Around the Sudbury net it goes. Players tripped up. Radley looks back at the referee. No call on the play, as it was...
No, he wasn't tripped.
Accidental, perhaps. Brstevich, another shot to the front of the net, as a London Knights forward left all alone. And it was a good pad save again for Bronis. Brstevich lobbing the puck deep into the Sudbury's territory again. Radley around the boards looking for Walton at the red line, and Walton maybe one step behind, as London able to get to the loose puck first. Another shot deflecting dangerously in front of the Sudbury net. London turning up the pressure again. Wolves are kind of in their own end here a little bit, and lucky for Wolves fans, the Knights with a bit of an errant pass goes all the way back into the London zone.
Well, that went off a goalie's stick. That actually went off Bronis' stick, so all the way down. You talk about players pleading for a penalty. They'll go down. And I know this happens a lot in minor hockey. Guys will look at us and go, hey, ref, what's going on? No penalty? I go, what penalty? So the thing is, players have that tendency, if they get knocked off the puck or whatever, if they feel that they've been impeded, they'll always turn around with that look of plead, if you know what I mean.
Face off inside the London zone, won by the Knights. They lob it to center ice. It's caught by Brady Smith, who I thought had a great first period for Sudbury defensively. Chauvin inside the London zone, looking back to the blue line. Brady Smith will pick it up. Rister purposely wide, gets that awkward bounce. Provorov was trying to find the loose puck. He trips up his man, and now, speaking of penalties, the arm does go in the air, and it's going to be going against Provorov, I believe. So a London power play is inbound.
Okay, can I admit that I could have called that one? That was a good one. That was a good one.
I was going to say, I feel like that was a pretty obvious one. But
no doubt about it, that's a deliberate trip, so you've got to call that.
Hold on a
Especially,
second. Hold on a second here. The Wolves penalty box door is closing. Is it a London penalty or it is a London penalty? Okay.
So Cover gets the gate.
Interesting.
There was a stick that was in there, and the thing is, are they saying that Cover's stick caused that trip? Okay, so I thought it was going to be a London power. This is now a Sudbury power play. Wolves will take it.
Wolves 1 for 1. Barahowski taking a shift on the power play again. Face-off will be inside the London zone. It was a bit of a confusing sequence as the London player tripped, but I guess it was as he was down, he tripped up Provorov, and then that's where his penalty came from.
I'd like to see that one on a replay.
Puck back into Wolves territory as Gonchar will cycle it around. This past weekend, he had a 2-goal performance, one of those games. Walton dancing his way into the London zone, drops for Chauvin. Chauvin a shot, nice pad save for the goaltender Sebastian Gatto. And London will exit. Almost 3 minutes gone in this second period. Gonchar up to Barahowski, who will drop for Villeneuve. Nate Villeneuve puts the brakes on, back to the blue line, looking for Walton. Walton lets it go for Gonchar at the blue line. Gonchar waits, get a wrister off, deflected, weird bounce in the front. Chauvin's trying to find the loose puck, and the Knights find it first. And look out, shorthanded 3-on-1 opportunity for London. Wilmot, one-time shot, and it's blocked by Gonchar. Wolves come back the other way. Chauvin with Gonchar and Villeneuve. Villeneuve waits, toe drag move, out in front, and they score! Artem Gonchar, and it's a 2-1 hockey game, and another power play goal for Sudbury.
Well, the toe drag was the key. Villeneuve with the toe drag, and Gonchar finishing off on that play. Wolves move that puck, comes back. Villeneuve with the drag, Gonchar with the shot. And I don't think Sebastian Gatto had a good look at that puck. It went in through a player, by a player, and I don't think he had a really good look at it to make the save. 2-1, thanks to the power play.
Wolves 2 for 2 on the man advantage. Artem Gonchar, a power play marker, his 5th of the regular season, getting the approval of Coolman Corelli, who's standing right beside me.
And Gonchar is lighting it up of late.
Sure is. Play continues. London now looking for the equalizer for the first time this game. Wraparound opportunity. Shot comes. Pad save for Bronis. Around the Sudbury net. Picked up by London at the blue line. Rister comes. Blocked in front by, guess who? Speedy Henderson. Wolves will get it to the center line. Eventually into London zone. Blake Clayton on the forecheck for the Wolves. As is Henderson. As is Alex Ferrand. Creech for London. Jumping in. Zakharov, who is from Russia, takes the puck around, back to Femis at the blue line. Femis, a wrister deflected off of 4 different bodies in front of the net. And London continue to cycle it around. A purposeful bounce off the backboard as London continues to press. Wolves scoring 2 goals on 4 shots, by the way, this entire game. Wrapped around the boards. Puck still inside the Wolves' ends. London, a pass out in front, and big defenseman Zach Wilson working on his man Zakharov, using that long reach to his advantage. Anderson across the red line. Wolves need a line change desperately. They're going to get it, and London's going to try to force the play as they get it back into Wolves territory. Here's London to the side of the net. Gavin Yules has been out there for quite some time now for Sudbury. Gonchar fresh legs after scoring that goal, and he'll kick it up to Dean. Dean for Sudbury, wisely putting it to the center ice area. Coughlin chasing it just outside of the London zone. It's caught and batted back by Clark of London. London across center ice, around the Sudbury net. Yules will watch Van Bommel. Around the Sudbury net it goes. Provorov working on it defensively. London at the blue line. Cross ice feed for Funk. Shot comes, and it's a shoulder save for Bronas, and look out. Now we got pushing and shoving Van Bommel in there. And Artem Gonchar, who is sporting a face mask tonight, gets into a bit of a shoving match with him. And that will be ended quickly by the referees and linesmen.
Well, Van Bommel, no stranger to getting his nose in there and creating whatever disturbance he can. I mean, Knights down 2-1, so some players have the tendency to try to shake things up their team's favor.
Artem Gonchar, 5th of the season on the power play. Assists going to Nate Villeneuve, his 2nd of the night now.
The toe drag. The toe drag was the key.
And Jan Chauvin picking up the secondary assist on that one too. So good looking power play for Sudbury tonight. 2 for 2 against the London Knights, the #1 ranked penalty killing team in the OHL. Face off inside the Sudbury zone. Draws one by London. Shot comes. That's blocked by Nathan McKee. We'll talk about. If you listen to Wolves games enough, you'll say, who's that? You might say, I don't recognize that name. We'll touch more on him as this is his first time with the Sudbury Wolves this season. Kieran Walton breaking out of the Sudbury zone.
And
pass. So a whistle is on the play with 14:24 to go in this second period. I was touching on Nathan McKee because we're looking at the roster ahead of the game tonight. There was a lot of faces where we said, man, there's another new face. Nathan McKee from Mississauga, Ontario, a 17-year-old, played quite a bit with the Barrie Colts U18. Aurelia Terriers. Stouffville Spirit is where he's with right now, and being brought in as a defenseman here tonight as well, as, like I said, some defensive injuries for the Sudbury Wolves squad as play continues in this second period. Also sporting a face mask for the game here tonight.
Well, a lot of the guys in Tier 2 do wear the face mask, so they're not used to the bottom portion of the visor opening up.
Wednesday night we had Finn Kearns in the lineup for the Sudbury Wolves, who had a real feisty game for Sudbury, of course playing for St. Andrews College. Puck back into the Wolves' end as London is pressing. Bristevich, a shot from an odd angle, and it's going to be cleared by Sudbury. Odd man rush, Villeneuve and Walton. Nate Villeneuve to the outside, pass out in front, deflected by Barahowski, trying to pot his second, and it went high and up and over the net. But the Wolves will maintain possession. Nate Villeneuve, another opportunity, gets a shot off. Good pad save for the goaltender Gatto. And London will squeeze it out to the red line. Ewell's off the boards, he gives it away. Knights will jump back into Wolves territory, and a fortunate call if you're a Sudbury Wolves fan. Offside. That was going to be a 3-on-2 rush for London, but linesman said no.
Knights struggling right now after the Wolves with that 2-1 lead, that go-ahead goal there. So again, Wolves are playing a steady game. Listen, this isn't the prettiest of hockey. Back and forth, but the Wolves are doing what they can, trying to keep the puck out of their own end. Dario Zulich, owner of the Sudbury Wolves, SWSC, told me prior to the game, he said, bet 365, he said, put your money on the Wolves tonight. I said, wow, can I take that one to the bank? He said, yes, you can.
You know what? If Dario says it,
okay.
I trust him.
Then we're going to talk to him every game and see who he likes. But he was pretty confident prior to puck drop here at the arena.
Well, yeah, Wednesday was a frustrating one for fans, and it was a close game. Wolves had it tied up at 2s, and then a couple quick goals by the Barrie Colts, and that was kind of all she wrote for that one, and an open netter as well. New night, new game, brand new weekend. Wolves will be off to Brampton on Sunday afternoon as well to face the Steelheads. But tonight it's all about Sudbury London as the Wolves jump back into the London zone. Braden Bennett, a shot, pad save for Gatto. Zach Wilson, another shot from the blue line, blocked by Cook of the Knights. Wolves a steal inside the London zone. Ferron, shot comes high and wide. Chauvin in deep, throws a hit in front of the Sudbury bench. A few extra shots for good measure as well. Wolves again a steal. Ferron over to Radley. Ferron at the blue line. Wilson will wait. He'll take a shot. That one's blocked, and he takes his man down right after taking a shot. Wilson over to Ferron. Zach Wilson, the big defenseman, going for his skate into the London zone. looking for a man open, gets a shot off, and it's stolen by London. He's going to have to come back in a hurry now. Knights into Sudbury zone. London Knights around the Sudbury net. Looked like a wraparound opportunity was formulating. Back at the blue line, Rister comes, shoulder save for Bronas. Another shot off the outside of the net, dribbling in front. Wolves are on it. Henderson finding the loose puck to Farad. A pile up at the Wolves blue line. Play continues with no call. Blake Clayton to the side of the Sudbury net. Someone's piece of equipment has exploded onto the ice. Looks like a mouth guard, neck guard, something like that. Play will continue. Knights are going to ice the puck. Is it enough for a call? I don't think so, as play will continue. As we were just mentioning, Nathan McKee for Sudbury, a stretch feed for Henderson. It'll be sent into the London zone. Icing not called. Henderson on it first. Henderson for Sudbury at the blue line. Cycling, burst of speed. Rister comes, deflected right in front of the Sudbury bench and eventually out back to the red line. McKee for Sudbury. Stick goes flying. Bodies are flying as a result, and that was the London Knights stick. Knights are on it inside the Sudbury zone. A shot from Funk that goes high. Yules will put it off the boards. It's going to go the distance. This could be icing against Sudbury, and yes, it will, as that pass, there was not really anyone close by, and so a face-off will come back inside the Sudbury zone.
McKee not afraid to get physical there on that sequence of plays, getting in the face of a London player in front of the Wolves goal, and again, trying to initiate some physical contact. So, hey, guy stepping in, he wants to make his mark on this team and maybe prove to management that I can play at this level.
So lots of new faces in the lineup tonight, not to mention the other goaltender that we haven't even touched on yet that the Wolves have traded for. He's not in the roster tonight. We'll touch on that young man as well. Next chance that we get. 11 and a bit to go in the second period. London inside the Sudbury zone. Shot comes, and it's deflected in front. Henderson getting mixed up a little bit right at the blue line. And now there's a pileup deep inside, right behind the Wolves net. Players are falling all over the place. There's a headlock as well.
There's a punch.
Yules and Cover. Yules and Cover continue to mix it up. Cover a cross-check on Yules, and referees just let them go. Henderson and Mitchell as well. Man, it's getting feisty here tonight. Here's a shot from Clayton. Glove save made by the goaltender, Sebastian Gatto. And the Knights will be turning it back the other direction. Firing it into the Sudbury zone. Clark worked on by Gonchar. Gonchar and Clark. Good battle there deep inside the Sudbury zone. 1-2. There's 5 bodies. As finally the referees blow the whistle because Gonchar's on top of someone. London Knights player is on his back. That's Clark. No pushes, no punches or anything like that. Just a good battle in the corner.
Yeah, and that's a dangerous situation at times if a player goes down and players start milling around with their skates, with their sticks and what have you. So you want to try and get that puck free as quickly as you can, or else you've got to blow it dead.
10:23 to go in the second period. Brian Cooper alongside Rick Wyman. Glad to have you hanging out for some Friday night hockey if you're listening online.
And we're just ripping through this game.
Yeah, time's flying, man. Face off inside the Sudbury zone. The captain for Sudbury, Villeneuve, face-to-face with O'Reilly. O'Reilly's going to win the draw. Shot comes from London high and way wide, about a foot past the net. Knights will spin it back, fire it right back into the Sudbury zone. The goaltender Bronas came out of his crease to play it. Just handed it off to Hudson Martin. O'Reilly inside the Sudbury zone. Pass out in front. A shot came and stick was lifted by the Knights forward. Wolves back the other direction. Chase Coughlin, burst of speed into London zone. Shot comes, pad save for Gatto. Villeneuve, another shot, another pad save. Rebound is there, and another pad save. A few more. Another chance for Sudbury. Martin a shot. It's high over the Wolves net. Wolves coming close to making this a 3-1 hockey game. At the blue line, Villeneuve a shot, and that's going to be a glove save for Sebastian Gatto as Coughlin now mixes it up in front of the London net with more so just a conversation. And some great pressure, though, coming from Sudbury.
Well, hey, London doesn't like it. And they're starting to retaliate. And right now, the Wolves with their own pressure and holding their own in this game. A lot of people thought London, Sudbury, do the Wolves have a chance? They do. They're leading halfway through the game.
Face off inside the London zone. 9:43 to go in the second period. Draw is going to be won by the Knights. They'll put it off the boards, but the Wolves doing a good job putting the pressure on. London will skate it out of their own ends up to Femus. Femus into Wolves territory. Femus around the Sudbury net, looking for a man open. Takes it right back to the blue line. Femus still has it. Femus doing a full lap. Now turns back. Looked like a power play for a second for London.
Skating around.
But now Sudbury doing a good job just keeping the Knights to the outside, foot on. Up to Provorov. Chauvin inside the London zone. Chauvin around the London Knights net. Chauvin, spinorama move back to the blue line, kept in barely by Gonchar. Gonchar, spinorama move. Held on to and gets it right back to Brady Smith. A wise play. Smith will just lob it into the London zone, but this is going to be an icing call made against Sudbury as Smith is a little frustrated with himself. As Wolves had some good momentum going inside the London zone, and now face-off is going to bring it all the way back into the Wolves' end.
Friday night hockey, 8:48 to go here in the period, and the Wolves holding their own against London. A team that has had its fair share of wins against the Wolves, but so far tonight, it's been a dogfight, even though the Wolves have been outshot 16-10.
Face-off won by Sudbury in their own ends. Provorov will move it out for the Wolves to the red line. It'll then be picked up by Henry Brestevich, who fires it into the Sudbury zone. Creets pass out in front, and reading that beautifully was Artem Gonchar, the New York Rangers prospect. Gonchar forward pass to Provorov. Provorov again putting it to center ice, and the Knights will turn it back in a hurry. Knights back into the Sudbury zone. A little over 8 to go in the second period. Sudbury a chance to move it. Provorov does. Up to Berehowski. Berehowski 1-on-4. Berehowski to the side of the London Knights net. Has his stick lifted and just runs out of real estate. But Provorov came in to help him out, as did Henderson. Henderson on the forecheck for the Wolves. And Henderson will come all the way back to help defensively. Henderson to Yules. Yules a stretch pass, and Berehowski nearly sprung on a breakaway. Looked like a high stick made contact from Berehowski. Play continues. London Knights moving it out across the red line. Eventually into the Sudbury zone. Knights need a line change, and Sudbury is going to try to take advantage of that. Henderson into the London zone. Henderson, a forward pass looking for Clayton. The puck bounces dangerously right in the blue paint of the London Knights net, and it's picked up by Berehowski. Berehowski, who's been out there for quite some time. Back to the blue line. Radley. Rister comes. That one's blocked. And Radley tried to throw a hit. Look out. 2-on-1 rush the other way. Cover. London Knights, but threw it over to Van Bommel, who didn't have a stick. And the fans give an ovation.
Weird.
London still has the puck, though. Shot comes, and it's a glove save for Bjorn Bronas, making his debut in a Sudbury Wolves uniform tonight.
I've got to say, that was a beautiful setup to Van Bommel, but he didn't have a stick to make a play.
He didn't have I didn't even realize he didn't have a stick. And fans in behind just give an ovation.
You don't see that too often, my friend.
And I'm sure Cover had no idea that Van Bommel didn't have a stick either, but kind of a funny sequence. Face-off comes inside the Sudbury zone. 7 and change to go in the second period. Puck was dropped. Villeneuve has a smirk on his face because he still, quote-unquote, won the face-off. Gets a little smirk from O'Reilly. Draw will be won by London this time as they put it around the Sudbury net. Coughlin taking the puck in along the boards. He goes for a tumble. And big Zach Wilson using his reach. Shot comes. Pad save for Bronas again. Bodies are flying everywhere in front of the Sudbury net, but the Knights pick up the loose puck. At the blue line is Woolley. Firing it around the Sudbury net. Opportunity in front. Shot comes. Deflected wide. As Wilson, man, he is a much-needed big body back there for Sudbury. Definitely a presence, and bodies continue to crash and bang. London on it, though. Back around the Sudbury net. Gonchar following the London Knights forward. Woolley at the blue line. Rister comes, deflected just wide, and the Knights will maintain possession. Funk, Rister comes, held on to by the goaltender Bronas again. Key on that, no rebounds. You know what? He allowed the first goal on the first shot of the game, and he has not looked back since.
And you know what? He settled in quickly shortly after that first goal. And I've got to say, he really hasn't had a lot of tough shots, a couple of late kicks as well, in over half a game, but pretty steady performance. And Wilson, by the way, showing his presence out there, tying up men. That's his job, and I'm sure that his physical stature is certainly helping his cause on that Wolves blue line.
Face off inside the Sudbury zone, won by the Wolves. And they're going to launch at the distance. Not enough for icing, though. Wolves on the forecheck. They're pressing. They're up 2-1. London back into Wolves territory. Rister comes, deflected into the far corner and out. Be picked up by McKee. McKee off for his skate. Looking for Chauvin. The puck was kind of bobbling about, so London able to turn it right back in a hurry. London inside the Sudbury zone. Lowry back to the blue line. Themis had to skate forward a little bit to grab it. And because of that, McKee for Sudbury was able to wrap it around the other direction. Another shot from the outside of the Sudbury net. Did not hit the goaltender. London. Puck still inside. A shot from Themis blocked by the skate of Chauvin. Puck goes around the Sudbury net again. Wolves doing a good job keeping things on the outside. Another stick has gone errant. It's gone missing. London Knights player will get his stick right back. But the loose stick is flopping around inside the Sudbury zone right now, kind of acting like a third defenseman. Play continues. Wolves now another chance to move out. They do, thanks to Hudson Martin. Farran. Nifty dipsy doodle inside the London zone. Shot comes, glove save made by Gatto. Bit of a tricky shot from Farran as well, using the defenseman as a screen. And it's a whistle and also a break in the action.
Well, here we are in the final few minutes of period number 2, and we'll take a look at some of the out-of-town scores. Busy night in the OHL, and of course, everyone's looking at the standings right now. They're always talking about the standings and what's going to happen between now and the OHL trading deadline. And the games that affect the Sudbury Wolves, Barrie leading Erie by a score of 1-0. Brampton and Flint tied at 1. Other scores, Pete's losing to Kingston by a score of 2-1. North Bay losing to Oshawa by a score of 2-0 so far. So, again, some interesting matchups tonight.
Oshawa, of course, coming into this game, they're 1 point up on Sudbury. They're sitting second last. They've had a very similar start to the season that Sudbury has, and I believe, I could be wrong, 15 points is how much they had coming into the game tonight, the Oshawa Generals. 1 point up on Sudbury and Oshawa. Wow. So play's about to resume with 4:49 to go in the second period.
Yes, you called it. Oshawa with 12 and the Wolves with 11.
That was close. Okay, gotcha.
A 1 point lead.
Face off, won by Sudbury. Another shot from the blue line comes from Ben Radley. And that's a gobbled up save for Gatto of the London Knights. Again, a shout out to you for tuning into the Wolves game tonight. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Rick Wyman, Brian Cooper. Good energy from the fans at the Sudbury Barn tonight, as always, on a Friday night. Face off inside the London zone. Nate Villeneuve trying to win the draw for Sudbury, and he does. Another shot from the blue line by Radley, and it goes wide. London will bat it out to the neutral zone, and Brady Smith will just bat it right back in. London Knights will skate it out, led by Henry Brstevich into Wolves territory. Knights are on it. Shot comes. Pat save for Bronas again. Puck is bobbling. Loose puck is there. Villeneuve helping out defensively. London Knights trying to get another one on net. Trying to get the equalizer as Sudbury with a steal. Across the red line. Coughlin. Villeneuve. He'll drop for Walton. Kieran Walton's shot comes. Blocker save. Another shot out in front, and they score! Rebound in front. Nate Villeneuve. Forehand, backhand, beauty. And it's a 3-1 hockey game. Led by the captain, Nate Villeneuve. And that just comes after some great pressure by Sudbury inside the London zone. Puck was loose. Villeneuve left all alone in front. Forehand forehand, backhand, and it is a 3-1 hockey game in favor of Sudbury.
And Nathan Villeneuve is not going to miss too often from that position, Coop. Johnny on the spot.
Goal number 10 on the season for the Wolves captain. Point number 3 on the night as well. Play continues. 3:45 left in the second period. London Knights in some unfamiliar territory, down 3-1. Heck of a performance from the Sudbury Wolves tonight, who have come to play against this number 2 ranked Western Conference Hockey Club. London back inside the Sudbury zone. Around the Sudbury net it goes. London's on it, trying to make this a 1-goal hockey game. Big Zach Wilson, the defenseman back there for Sudbury. London is on it. Another shot comes, shoulder save for Bronas, rebound. And now we got some pushing and shoving in front. Van Bommel standing right there trying to find a loose puck. And he will be unsuccessful with that.
Well, the Wolves have certainly done what they need to do in this period after going ahead 2-1. They continue to pressure the London Knights, taking advantage of the opportunity. Only 14 shots on goal, but then again, sometimes that can be misleading. London with 22, but it's the Wolves up by 2 late here in the second period. So kudos to the Wolves for doing what they've got to do. It's not pretty, but the thing is they're working hard out there, getting physical and taking care of business.
3-1, a 3-point night for Villeneuve so far. Puck still inside the Sudbury zone. Shot from the London Knights at the blue line, deflects wide. Another shot by London with exactly 3 minutes to go in the second period. Wolves just barely get it out, but London with a burst of speed, they put themselves offside. And so another whistle on the play. Kieran Walton, by the way, picking up primary assist on that goal, and then Chase Coughlin picking up the secondary assist. So 2 points for Walton tonight, 3 points for Nate Villeneuve, who continues to climb up in the OHL scoring race.
Well, Coop, we've said this before, that your big players have got to be big, especially in games like tonight. And they're delivering. The names are coming through tonight, especially Nathan Villeneuve.
Play continues, face off just outside of the Sudbury zone. Wolves are on it. London's pressuring as Ethan Dean, look out, got nailed in along the boards. Around the Sudbury net it'll go. Alex Ferran. Ferran off the boards. Hudson Martin looked to try and find where Dean was. Dean noticed that was his position, so he came back and played the puck. Dean back there to help out. And he will poke the puck forward. Knights get it to the center ice area, and they'll just push it right back into the Wolves zone. Now Sudbury a chance to move it. Radley, drop pass for Hudson Martin. Martin forward to Radley in a bit of a miscue as the Knights will fire it right back in. 2 minutes now to go in the second period. And yes, if you're just joining the broadcast, 3-1 Sudbury over the London Knights. Braden Bennett for the Wolves at the center line will lob it in. Icing not called. Wholesale line change now for Sudbury, and the Knights will come right back. Opportunity for London as the puck is bobbling around like crazy. And it's the forwards as well for Sudbury that are coming back in a big defensive way, not giving the London Knights a whole lot of time or space to move the puck. Chase Coughlin will skate it out for Sudbury to the red line. At center ice area is Walton. Walton cross ice to Villeneuve. Gets a wrister off, and that one goes just wide. Villeneuve hit late. And something stung Villeneuve. He's off to the bench to keep an eye on the Wolves captain, who's being looked at on the bench right now. Coughlin back into the London zone. Cuts across the middle. Chase Coughlin waits, fires a pass out in front. Right in the skates of Blake Clayton. Final minute of play in the second period. London Knights will move it out. Brstevich. Cross ice feed to Jared Woolley, an LA Kings prospect. The Knights need a line change rolling. Walton backhand pass to Clayton. Clayton at the center ice area. Doesn't get a whole lot of space to move, and now a good steal for Sudbury's Artem Gonchar. Clayton to Gonchar will drop into the London zone. Gonchar, backhand pass, looking for Barahowski. Around the London Knights net it goes. Henderson picks it up. Rowan Henderson back to the blue line. Yules waits. Gets a wrister purposely wide. It goes around the net. 20 seconds to go in the second period. Good pressure right now from Sudbury. Pass back to the blue line, and it goes off the stick of Yules. He's got to hustle to get all the way back. Final 10 seconds. London trying to capitalize on that little mishap. London nearly put themselves offside. Final 5 seconds of the period. Yules off the glass. All the way around it goes, and that'll do it for period number 2. Shots 22 now for the Knights, 14 for Sudbury. And we saw no goals for London that period, and 2 for Sudbury. Artem Gonchar, a power play marker, his 5th from Villeneuve and Chauvin. Wolves, by the way, go 2 for 2 on the power play. And then most recently, Nate Villeneuve, who did leave the ice momentarily. We'll keep an eye out for him heading into the third period. He scored his 10th from Kieran Walton and Chase Coughlin. Rick, your thoughts after 2 periods of play?
You see, when you work hard, a good situation for the Sudbury Wolves in terms of not backing down from London, and the thing is not giving up, working on their puck possession in their own zone, and trying to clear the zone as quickly as they can and avoiding mistakes in your own end, because Baronas in that second period didn't really have a lot of difficult shots to handle, and that's why the Wolves are up by a couple of goals. So a solid effort that we saw on Wednesday, not quickly or not continuing into that third period for the entire period. Now they're off and running. 2-goal lead. Can they continue that for the third period and seal the deal on the victory?
You know, after the first period of play, Wolves had just 2 shots on net. 2. London had 11. After that period, Sudbury ended up out-shooting London 12 shots to 11. And, I mean, still trailing overall, 22-14, but still. Crazy second period. Wolves lead by 2 as we finish off period number 2. Rick and I will step out for about 15 minutes. We'll be back to take you through third period action. You're listening to Wolves Hockey. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you soon.
It's time for the Northern Nissan T-shirt toss. Show us who wants it. You gotta show us that you want it. Come on. Show us that you want it. Let's have time. All right, let's try this out, ready?
are seeking recruitment support in general labor, construction, and mining, our expertise will equip you with seasoned professionals that align with your requirements. Talk to us today.
The business communications platform does a lot more like making receive calls from a desk phone or remote. The Soul Switch Business Communications platform.
And you only got 6 minutes left to get those 50-50 tickets. Go to playform5050.com or find your nearest associate. Get those tickets before the end of the second edition.
His figure skating friends, the Stars of Ice Holiday Tour is moving to Sunlight. With skating icon Elma Stoico, Olympic medalist Ethan Osmond, Olympic gold medalist Ekaterina Gordieva, and a cast of world-class skaters. Stars on Ice, a special holiday performance. One night only, December 13th at Sudbury Community Arena. Get your tickets at starsonice.ca.
customers also receive service gift certificates, free detailing, and so much more. Already owning Nissan? Existing customers can receive a 0.5% interest rate reduction on select vehicles. For more details, drop by the dealership at 1000 Kingsway or visit northernnissan.com. It pays to build a community and support local business. Rates starting as low as 0% for the 2025 Nissan Rogue. Join 0% on the 2025 Nissan Kits plus a $1,000 bonus offer. Take advantage of their Black Friday event with 0% credit for up to 60 months. And check out the 2025 Armada, rated the top safety pick and finance rates from 4.99% plus a $500 bonus for qualified Nissan owners. Introducing a host of Nissan First technologies and comfort features, the Armada is one you'll want to test drive. Wolves Nation, please welcome back to the ice, your Sudbury Wolves!
But it is a 3-1 hockey game in favor of the Sudbury Wolves. 2 goals for Sudbury, none for the London Knights in that second period. Artem Gonchar, power play marker from Villeneuve and Chauvin, and then Nate Villeneuve scores his 10th from Walton and Coughlin. Wolves 2 for 2 on the power play. Speaking of Villeneuve, we are keeping an eye on him because late in that second period, he went down in a little bit of discomfort. And as he stepped out on the ice for a little warm-up skates, you could kind of see him favoring one of his legs. Now, he is on the bench right now, but we'll be keeping an eye on the Wolves captain.
Was it an ankle? It could have been leg, ankle.
He went down real awkward. It was just an awkward fall. So we'll keep an eye and let you know what we see from the Wolves captain. He's a tough cookie. We know that for sure. But we are set to go. It's going to be Clayton taking the draw for Sudbury out there with Barahowski and Henderson. It's a hard-working line for Sudbury. Taking the face-off, Wilmot for the London Knights. Make that Van Gorp, sorry. And third period is officially underway. Draw won by Sudbury. Ewells deflecting it into the London zone right off the hop. And the Knights, who have a little bit of work to do in this third period, will clear it to the center line and out. Wolves back to help out, though. Clayton at the center ice area. Quick up to Henderson. That pass eluded him. Henderson still deep inside the London zone. Knights at their own blue line. They'll move it around. Cook, cross-ice pass. Eventually into Sudbury zone. Ristevich, cross-ice feed. Shot comes high and way wide. It'll go off the boards. And speaking of Nate Villeneuve, there he is making a quick play. Up to Chase Coughlin. Coughlin inside the London zone gets a backhand shot off. Pad save for the goaltender, Sebastian Gatto. Coughlin making something out of nothing. London around their own net and a bit of a misfire. Walton in along the boards. Gets it right back to Radley, who is waiting at the blue line. He can't hold his own, so here comes the captain for London. Into Sudbury's territory, taken down hard by the other captain, Villeneuve, and they are still down in a heap inside the Sudbury zone. Wolves back the other direction. Walton inside London's territory. Forward pass intended for Coughlin, and it did go off his stick, but it deflected into the corner instead of the back of the net. Villeneuve around the Sudbury net. It'll be picked up by the Knights. Knights trailing by 2 heading into this third period. At the blue line is Brown. Shot comes. Blocked by Villeneuve, who will lob it into the London zone. Not enough for icing, so the Wolves will go for a line change. Knights right back the other direction. Shot comes. Blocked for Alex Ferrand, who I thought has had a really solid game tonight for Sudbury as well. Now we have a whistle on the play. Arm is in the air, and we will have a power play. It's going to be a hook. As Alex Ferrand, I was just talking about him.
Yes, there's your guy.
That's the announcer's curse, I guess, right? He was had a really strong game, but he's not where he wants to be right now, sitting in the penalty box. So London's power play, ranked 7th in the OHL, is going to go to work.
Well, this is a great opportunity for the Knights, and we'll see how tough the Wolves are defensively. They can kill this one off and keep it at a 2-goal lead.
Well, they win the face-off, and they're set up right away on the power play inside the Sudbury zone. But Henderson doing some great work, finding the loose puck and batting at the distance all the way down onto the goaltender's stick, Sebastian Gatto. Brestevich for the London Knights, breaking loose into the Sudbury zone. Shot comes for Sudbury, a pad save made by Bronas. And the Wolves again will find the loose puck. Henderson has a stick explode. And I think he's going to be penalized because he threw his stick. I could be wrong on this one, as Henderson is going off to the box. His stick shattered, and as soon as he realized it, he kind of did it looked like a half throw. Now, Rick, you're the expert here. Is that typically a penalty?
No, you're supposed to drop your stick in the first place, but I didn't see a signal by the referee as he approached the penalty box area, but illegal equipment. Maybe maybe they're getting him for illegal equipment.
So the stick shattered. So instead, you're supposed to just drop it.
Just drop it.
Because what he did was he tossed it. So what's the official call? Like what do they call that? Throwing the stick, or like what do they call it?
You can get him for throwing the stick. I'm dying to hear the official call, or else maybe playing with illegal equipment. So it's one of two. Here it is.
All right, power play 5-on-3 for London. Set up inside the Sudbury zone. Knights out in front, and they score just like that. Standing in front of the net is the captain, Sam O'Reilly. And they make this a 1-goal hockey game. A power play marker, and the Boo Birds are out in the Sudbury Community Arena, and the Knights are going to stay on the man advantage as well. So Alex Ferrand is out, and they were just announcing the penalty officially, Rick.
Okay, well, 2 guys in the box. Something had to happen, and the Knights strike quickly.
Goal number 10 on the season for O'Reilly.
We'll have to wait for that official call.
Standing right in front of the nets, just to tap in. Not a whole lot that the goaltender Bronas could do, so it's 3-2 now. Almost 3 minutes gone in the third period. Knights back into the Wolves' ends. The rookie Cover pass out in front, shot comes, and they look like Brestevich thinks it's in the back of the net, as they're going to have a look at this one. Brestevich had his arms in the air like it was a goal. Bronas says no. Hold on a second, is this another power play marker?
Rick Wyman with the call on that penalty to Rowan Henderson. It was a minor for illegal equipment. Can't be skating with it, then toss it. You've got to get rid of it right away.
So they might be going and having a look at this one. I'm not entirely sure. A shot from the outside, it went off of the goaltender Bronas, and you know what, no review. Brestevich thought it was in. He had his arms in the air, and no, there is no review, so stays at 3-2. Power play, 1.5 minutes to go, as the Knights have made this a 1-goal hockey game. Face-off inside the Sudbury zone. Draw is won by Sudbury. Provorov will wire it, and it will escape the Sudbury zone. Right back under the stick of the goaltender, Sebastian Gatto. Knights will move it around. The captain, O'Reilly. Little drop pass for Henry Brstevich, LA Kings prospect. Brstevich back to Waslin. Waslin to Brstevich, who takes it at the blue line. Brstevich will wait, wants to shoot. Gets a pass across, shot comes, good block for Brady Smith in Sudbury. Trying to poke it out was Ferrand, could not do it. Puck will go around the boards, kept in by this London power play. O'Reilly being worked on by Hudson Martin. Back to the blue line, Brstevich. Cross ice to Wilmot. Wilmot in the corner. Waiting for it was the London forward, Jackson Cover. London Knights still have possession inside the Sudbury zone. Power play has about 30 seconds left. At the blue line, Wilmot waits to the side of the net. Backhand shot. That one's blocked by Hudson Martin. London again, a chance. Wilmot misplayed the puck. Blake Clayton was ready to be sprung on a breakaway. Cover takes it inside the Sudbury zone. Cross ice pass to Wilmot. He can't control the puck for London. 10 seconds, and then Henderson will be ready to come out of the box. Henderson standing, ready to come out. London, maybe another shot coming here. Brstevich waits. Toe drag move, shot, rebound, another one, another save for Bronas, and a third save for Bronas as now we got some pushing and shoving. And we got some right and left hooks being thrown as well. Brady Smith in there, and Brstevich going to step in for the London Knights. And now we got more people stepping in. O'Reilly, we got a glove drop, just one. And the Wolves will officially kill off the penalty as now the rough stuff picks up in front of the Sudbury net.
Well, London is notorious for this. If they're behind, they want to start mixing things up, so some close calls. No one going to the box, so the referee's going to let them play. See how far it goes, unless there's something too obvious. They won't be calling anything. Just let them play hockey so the faceoff comes outside the line.
15.5 to go in the third period. Wolves up by 1. And you see how well this London Knights club moves the puck around. If you're the Wolves, you do not want to be penalized again. London winning the draw. He'll fire the puck around the Sudbury net. So Bjorn Bronas making his debut in a Wolves jersey tonight. Made not one, not two, but 3 saves on that last sequence. Puck fired back into the Wolves' ends by the Knights. Villeneuve off the boards, looking for Walton. Walton chases the puck, but it's the Knights picking up at the blue line. Rister comes, deflected, right in behind the Sudbury net. Bronas not needing to make a save. Wolves lobbing it to the center ice area. Woolley all the way back. He'll pass it over to Andone Themis. Chasing down the puck is Brody Cook for the Knights. It'll go off the boards and eventually into the London zone. Knights fire it right back in. They need a line change, and so Sudbury, this will give them an opportunity to move the puck out. Nate Villeneuve, who's got a 3-point night tonight, drops it for the big man. Speaking of making debuts, Zach Wilson, 6'6" defenseman back there, being brought in by the Saginaw Spirit. Interesting to note, as Saginaw was in town on Saturday, he was, I'm pretty sure it was a scratch for the Spirit, so who knows how long those conversations have been happening for. I don't recall him being in the lineup for Saginaw on Saturday. Either way, it's good to have him in the Wolves roster, as London firing a shot from beyond the blue line right into the glove of goaltender Bronas. We were talking about Nathan McKee. And then the other one, too, which a lot of people were buzzing about because the Wolves brought in Bronas, making his debut. And then there was all this talk as well about another goaltender, and people were saying, hold on, as Paolo Frasca, the Wolves have secured the rights to another goaltender from Frasca, who
he's injured right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure when we'll see him, but you could kind of see the need for goaltending stability. That's the word I was looking for earlier in the broadcast. And Wolves have certainly made some moves on that end of the ice. Backing up the goaltender tonight is Carson Chartier. Play continues in this third period. Coughlin inside the London zone. Shot comes, glove save for Gatto. And Chase Coughlin was taken down hard.
That was a solid save.
And he went flying into the corner boards. And it looks like he may have taken a high stick as he looks at the referee. Coughlin has an extended conversation as well with Mikhail Zakharov. And nothing more comes of that.
Gatto with a big save there to keep the score within reach. 3-2 Sudbury. Just past 6 minutes here in the period, and again, a good one for the Sudbury Wolves, scratching and clawing their way to a win tonight. And of course, got to keep it up, got to maintain that consistency for 60 minutes. And that's been their downfall this season, but London knows all about that. And again, they don't want to leave here tonight with another loss after losing 5-2 to North Bay last night.
And to touch more on Paolo Frasca, that goaltender. He's from Toronto, a 19-year-old. Not on the lineup tonight, obviously, but this past Wednesday, Finn Kearns was in the lineup. Finn Kearns plays with St. Andrews College, and that's also some experience that Frasca is going to be drawing upon as well. Victoria Grizzlies, BCHL. He's played all over the place. Toronto Junior Canadians in the OJHL, and the Wolves have secured his rights. So goaltending options are there now for the Sudbury Wolves.
You can never have enough goaltending.
Play continues. 13:45 left in the third period. Here's Cover, the rookie shooter for the London Knights. And it was another good chest save for the goaltender Bronis. Puck is inside the Wolves' end. Not for long, says Barahowski. Barahowski back to Radley. London Knights turn it right back. Knights are inside the Sudbury zone, and the Wolves are just surrounding the Knights skaters as soon as they touch the puck. Good on them for that. Henderson across the red line to Barahowski. 3-2 is the score in favor of Sudbury. Knights are capable of scoring in bunches. Knights take it back into the Wolves' end. Hudson Martin along the boards. He's going to get hit hard. Pushes it up to Clayton. Clayton will go for a skate. Quick up to Walton, who can really boogie. He's inside the London zone. Breaks through two different London Knights skaters. Walton will be pushed hard into the corner boards. Back to the blue line. Hudson Martin, wrister comes. Deflected into the corner. Walton is on it as well. Coughlin helping out on the forecheck. Chase Coughlin looking back to the blue line. Villeneuve wind-up slapper. Shoulder save made by the goaltender Gatto. Coughlin on the forecheck. Back to the blue line, kept in by Ewells of Sudbury. Ewells to Coughlin. Into the corner. Walton's waiting. Walton twisting and turning. Backhand pass back to the blue line. Martin. Martin picks it up for Sudbury. Villeneuve wind-up slapper. That one's blocked. He'll just barely keep it inside the London zone. Villeneuve giving it away, and the Knights with a chance to clear. They can't. Villeneuve again. An opportunity to shoot. He goes back to the blue line. Martin, a shot comes. Looked like a glove save for the goaltender, Gatto. Villeneuve trying to find Ewells back to the blue line, and Cover of the London Knights needs a break and a change, and so the whole London line will go for that change. Sudbury back the other direction, led by Alex Ferron. Ferron into the London zone. His stick is lifted, so the Knights come back. And Provorov back to help out defensively. 11:45 to go in this third period. Knights at the Wolves blue line. Cross ice feed picked off by Provorov. Knights deep inside Sudbury's territory now. Wilmot helped out by Cook. And the puck squirts loose. And off to the races is Radley for Sudbury with Chauvin. Chauvin taken into the corner, then taken down hard. And look out, a pile up. Puck ends up free in front of the London net, and the Knights will be off the other direction. Wilmot down the wing trying to get around Artem Gonchar. Gonchar lifts his stick, and a great play by the New York Rangers prospect to squirt that one loose. Knights are in front of the Sudbury net. Little pad save made by Bjorn Bronis. Gonchar for Sudbury around the boards. Knights trying to find the loose puck, and they do, as London, who dominated the first period, Sudbury owned the second, and this period, Rick, I'm pretty sure it's just been back and forth. It's been a good hockey game. Puck around the Sudbury net. Radley lobbing it to the center ice area, and a good play by him not to take an icing call for Sudbury. The Knights move it around. Funk is on the puck for the Knights. Quick up to Howardy. To Van Gorp. Van Gorp, little backhand flipper deep inside the Sudbury zone. He'll get run into hard by Brady Smith. And now another pile up in the corner inside the Sudbury zone. London finding the loose puck. A pass back to the blue line. Brestevich was one glide too many, and so he had to come all the way back. Halfway through the third period, Wolves hanging on to the 1-goal lead. Brestevich, a wrister that's going to go beyond the Wolves net. Gavin Yules will find it. The puck is actually on the back of the net, as now we get some extra pushing and shoving. And not a whole lot more going in that sequence.
Yeah, face off inside the Wolves zone, so rather than trash the netting, blow it down before everyone gets carried away. Wolves are hanging in there. And the thing is, London is trying to threaten, but you know what? Wolves have got to keep it, pedal to the metal for the next 10 minutes here to hold on for this one. And that's a good sign if they can.
London's out shooting Sudbury 8-2 this period so far. Face off inside the Sudbury zone. Nate Villeneuve. Good to see him still out there for Sudbury after going down real awkwardly at the end of that second period. Given away. Wolves back the other direction. Walton with Coughlin. Walton, he scores! What a shot! What a steal! And what a goal for the big winger. It is 4-2 Sudbury.
Linus Funk coughed it up. And Walton took advantage of that. Going in, doing his thing, and of course he's not going to miss very often. He cashed in on that one. Huge goal. Mistake by Funk on that play. Couldn't contain. Good steal by Walton, and it's a 4-2 hockey game.
Just flew down the wing and fired a wrister blocker side past Sebastian Gatto. And now London comes back looking to bring it within one again. London, a shot purposely wide to the net with 9.5 to go in the third period.
That was a tough shot to stop as well. So, I mean, give Walton some credit on that howitzer.
Well, and Coughlin was trailing the play too, so there was an option for a pass. Puck is hemmed in along the boards. London will skate it back into the Sudbury zone, led by Waslin. He's taken down by the smaller Hudson Martin. And then Martin is nailed in along the boards by O'Reilly. Wolves right back into the London zone. Here's Martin. Shot comes. Glove save made by the goaltender Gatto with 8:56 remaining in the third.
Wolves aren't backing down, Coop, and we haven't seen that kind of play in a long time. Normally teams would come in, third period, try to take advantage of the inexperience on the Wolves' blue line and have their way, but not tonight. They're playing with confidence, a lot more confidence and physicality. Is it perfect hockey? No, but they're leading.
It's an unassisted goal for Kieran Walton. Face off inside the London zone. And the Knights put it over the glass. This could be a delay of game penalty, I believe, against the London Knights. Rick, you were talking about easy calls to make. And yippers, that is going to be a delay of game penalty against the Knights. And so here comes a Sudbury power play.
Yeah, just rifled over the glass.
It's Femus, the penalized player for the Knights. And so here's a chance for maybe a little bit of insurance for the Sudbury Wolves with under 9 to go in the third. Wolves, by the way, 2 for 2 on the power play tonight.
Oh, you've got to like that. And the thing is, it's a good sign for the Wolves to get the power play going. They struggle of late, but looking good now.
Face off inside the London zone. It's won by Sudbury. They're set up on the power play right away. Chauvin back to the blue line. Gonchar. Gonchar will drop for Walton. Kieran Walton back to Gonchar at the blue line. Gonchar to Walton. Kieran Walton for Sudbury. Back to the blue line. Gonchar. Gonchar waits. Back to Walton. Walton goes for a skate to the side of the net. Chauvin couldn't get a shot off. Cross-ice feed intended for Villeneuve, and he's going to have to come back in a hurry. Here comes London. Shorthanded opportunity. Pass out in front, and look out. Villeneuve took his own defenseman out. The puck went in the back of the net. He also flew into Bjorn Bronis. And the question becomes,
that's a goal.
Is that a good goal? I believe
that's a goal.
That is going to be a good goal.
Yeah, it was in the net before the crash, and the referee was right there in the corner, Coop.
And so I believe that's going to be O'Reilly again, as Bjorn Bronis showing a little bit of discomfort after being run into by Villeneuve as well.
No, that was good positioning by the referee, and he explained to Scott Barney that, yeah, it's a goal.
Short-handed goal for the captain or not the captain, sorry, but for O'Reilly. Sam O'Reilly, a Tampa Bay Lightning prospect, and a brand new hockey game, if you will. 4-3. 8:10 to go in the third period as the Wolves jump back into the London zone. Walton around Barahowski. Wolves set up on the power play. Villeneuve at the blue line. Nate Villeneuve waits. Cross ice to Walton. Gonchar at the blue line. Walton cross ice to Villeneuve. Villeneuve back to the blue line. Gonchar, he'll trade places. Villeneuve cycles it. Waits into the corner. Chauvin's waiting. Villeneuve just inside the blue line. Back to Gonchar. Further at the blue line. Gonchar to Walton. To the corner. Opportunity shot comes by Chauvin, and it's a good save for Sebastian Gatto, who was reading that play beautifully. A nice little set power play opportunity for Sudbury.
Dropping to his knees and smothering that puck on a good chance by the Wolves, but again, no place to put that puck upstairs. Now, time is a factor for both teams. Can the Wolves hang on, and can the Knights manage to tie this game up?
Face off inside the London zone, won by Sudbury. Still on a power play for 30 more seconds, and look out. Assistant Wolves coach Andrew Desjardins just got hit with the puck. But, you know, he spent a little bit of time in the NHL. He's a tough cookie. He actually still has the puck. And he has a little smirk as well as the referee goes by. He'll be okay.
Face-off coming back into London territory. And the Wolves, you could safely say, are holding their own against the Knights, the highly touted Knights. Not the same type of team as last year, but still competitive in that OHL Western Conference.
London Knights breaking out of their own zone, and they'll just fire at the distance with 20 seconds to go left in this Wolves power play. 7:15 left in the third period. Sudbury across the center line. Kieran Walton. Dipsy Doodles doesn't see a whole lot of space, so he cycles it back to Hudson Martin. 10 seconds left until Themis is going to come out. Villeneuve will deflect it to Walton. Walton jumping into the London zone. Kieran Walton with that big reach. Villeneuve taken down on the play. Gets it back, though, to his defenseman Ewells. Back to even strength, so Sudbury 2 for 3 on the power play. Walton, spinorama move. Batted into the London zone. The Knights will slow it down. Around their own net, quickly up to Cover. Again, a pretty crazy story for Jackson Cover as he takes the puck into the Sudbury zone. Knights are on the forecheck. 6:15 to go. Shot comes, and oh boy, look out. Alex Ferron just took a puck to the face, and he's right gone to the Sudbury bench. Another shot coming for London. Rebound out in front. As Ferrand, he's going straight to the Wolves dressing room.
Looks like he was hit in the mouth with the puck, or maybe the facial area just above his mouth.
Puck back into the London zone. Sudbury has it. Henderson helping out defensively. So hope all the best for Alex Ferrand. He got off at his own strength. Speaking of tough cookies, that's Ferrand in a nutshell. London back inside the Sudbury zone. Dean will find it as look out, Bronas was taken down, and that's going to be a penalty against the Knights.
Interference, is it?
I believe Van Gorp caught him on the way out of the zone, and they're going to call it a trip against Van Gorp. Taking down Bronas behind the play. And Van Gorp is going to argue his case. So a Wolves power play coming.
Well, in that situation, I mean, really, when you look at the clock, that's just a stupid penalty for Van Gorp to take right now. It benefits the Sudbury Wolves, but I mean, you got to be smart at this juncture of the game in the third period. And the referee's still talking to him. And Gorp does not agree. But once you're in the box, how many times are you going to win that argument with the referee? Guilty as charged.
Yeah. Well, and so it was behind the play. The puck had exited the zone, and it was just kind of a real light bloop, right to the kind of the back of the leg of the Wolves goaltender, and down with Bronas, and the referee, good credit to the ref as well, who saw it in the back end. And so here comes the Sudbury power play.
Well, you could call that interference, or for what it's worth, it was, a trip. So I'm sure Van Gorp is probably arguing that Baronis was embellishing.
Wolves power play inbound with 5:28 to go. 4-3 in favor of the Wolves. It's been a crazy one here tonight at the Sudbury Community Arena.
But a good one, entertaining.
Absolutely, a great hockey game. Face off inside the London zone. Villeneuve and O'Reilly. O'Reilly, he's got 2 in the period. Face off is won cleanly by Sudbury. In fact, it's so clean it comes all the way back into the Wolves' end. Gonchar will move it forward for Sudbury. Across the red line it goes. Puck takes a bit of a dangerous bounce as London is strong on the penalty kill as well. The number 1 ranked team on the PK in the OHL. Wolves break out of their own zone. Gonchar. Across the center line he goes, twisting and turning. Puck on a string right now. He'll bat it into the London zone. Barahowski, spinorama move. Wolves trying to get set up on the man advantage. Thing that makes London dangerous on the PK is they're ready to be sprung. Puck inside the London zone though right now. Clayton a shot, and it was a good block. Really, really good block in front of the London net. Puck right back to the Wolves end. 4.5 to go in the third period. 1 minute left in this Wolves power play. Gonchar, forward pass to Walton. Walton leaves it for Chauvin, who will wire it around the London net. Barahowski was standing there waiting for the loose puck, but also were the London Knights defensemen who fire at the distance. So the Wolves will set up again. Power play unit B is out now. Hudson Martin skates it out for the Wolves to Ewells. Ewells off the glass. It rattles its way around the London net. Provorov, keeps it in deep for Sudbury. Wolves haven't got a whole lot set up yet on the power play, but here's a shot for Sudbury's Bennett, and it's a good shoulder save for Gatto. Bennett back to the blue line. Another shot deflected. Rebound is there. Coughlin took a swing at it, and he gets the loose puck as well. But Braden Bennett was behind the play, and the Knights are able to exit the zone as Van Gorp is now standing ready to come out of the box.
Yeah, good penalty kill by the Knights. 3.5 to go. We'll be watching that clock.
And he is out. Van Gorp, so we're back to even strength. 3:20 left in the third period. Wolves unable to cash in on that power play. Puck trickles to the London crease, and a face-off will happen inside the London zone as a result.
I'd like to be the fly on the wall that overhears that conversation between Coach Dale Hunter and Van Gorp as to the wherefores and whys. Not to say that Dale Hunter was innocent more often than not when he played NHL for Quebec and various teams, but again, it's one of those things I'm sure he'll tell them. Pick your spots.
Face off inside the London zone. 3:18 to go in the third period. Face off is won by London. Bristevich will lob it to the center ice area. It'll be caught by Radley of Sudbury. Henderson back to help out defensively as well for the Wolves. Henderson, quick up to Radley. Radley, forward pass to Dean. Ethan Dean of the Sudbury Wolves working on Woolley. The Knights will fire it around their own net, but finding that loose puck is Gonchar first for the Wolves. Gonchar just inside the blue line. He'll leave it. Wrister comes from Blake Clayton. That one goes high and way wide. Wolves still pressuring, though, inside the London zone. Anderson putting pressure on inside London's territory. Clayton comes in there to help him out. Woolley and Henderson, and there's a big cross-check from behind by Woolley. No call on the play. Knights will exit, and that stung Henderson a little bit. Knights back into the Wolves zone. Around the boards it'll go, as Wolves coaching staff giving an earful to the referee after that. Just in behind the Sudbury net, 2:15 to go in the third. Knights have possession, and look out, a steal. Chase Coughlin, wide open net as well. Goalie pulled, and he scores!
Rustevich again. He's not known for coughing up the puck, but that's two costly giveaways. Rustevich couldn't hold on to that puck. Easy goal. Is a 2-goal lead enough?
Well, 2:05 remaining in this third period. Bristevich, as Rick just mentioned, a uncharacteristic cough up right at the blue line, and he just kind of blew a tire. And Chase Coughlin, you will not have an easier goal than that one, as the goaltender literally had just been pulled as well. 5-3.
Miscues at the blue line.
5-3 in favor of Sudbury. Under 2 minutes to go. Puck is inside the Sudbury zone. Coughlin taken down hard. Wilmot keeping the puck in. Goaltenders pulled again, by the way, for the Knights. London Knights trying to make this interesting. O'Reilly, cross-ice pass stolen by the big man Wilson. New defenseman for Sudbury. 1.5 minutes to go in the third period. Wolves are up by 2. Wide open cage down there. Puck is forced into the London zone. O'Reilly, a lob pass. Eventually goes into Sudbury zone. Opportunity coming. Shot comes. Glove save made for Bjorn Brones, who will just hang on. Not really any traffic in front of the net, but I think a wise play for him just to settle things down.
Good effort by the Wolves here in this game. And again, holding on. But London can be faulted for their 2 egregious mistakes at the blue line. Can't control the puck. And again, 2 goals here in the third period. That's been the difference.
Face off inside the Sudbury zone. Still wide open cage in the London zone. Knights have it. Extra attackers out. Wolves trying to pick up a win here tonight at the Sudbury Community Arena. Bristevich in deep for the Knights. Pass out in front. Shot comes. Blocker save for Bronis. Hudson Martin in along the boards. Final minute of play in the third period. Shot from the Wolves' end into the back of the net. Gavin Yules. That's an easy one. And he's got one tonight as well. It's a 6-3 hockey game now.
Wow. Sudbury taking advantage of miscues by London and cashing in. First Kieran Walton. And again, empty netter, 2 empty netters. And it'll be another defeat on the road for the London Knights. Last night in North Bay, tonight in Sudbury. The Wolves are 55 seconds away from securing this one.
Play continues. You know the London Knights, they don't go down without a fight, though, as they're back into the Sudbury zone in a hurry. 6-3 in favor of Sudbury. London Knights came into this game number 2 in the Western Conference, and the Wolves give credit to them. They survived that first period. Outplayed London in the second. There's a shot and a beauty save for Bronis. Puck is free in front of the Sudbury net. 20 seconds left now in the third period. Wolves outplayed, and a bit of a miscue again by London at the blue line, as they'll have to try again. Final 15 seconds of this one. Knights around the blue line. Deep inside Sudbury zone. Final 5 seconds. Things are ticking down. And an ovation from the fans.
Well done.
Sudbury Wolf, Bjorn Bronis picks up the victory tonight for the Sudbury Wolves. Both arms in the air as he gets a great celebration from his teammates. That was a sweet moment. A lot of players making their debut tonight as well. Taking down the powerhouse London Knights on home ice. As I mentioned, London came into this game number 2 in the Western Conference, and they've been strong since the start of the season. Sudbury, of course, now without their struggles. They survived the first period, outplayed London in the second period, and you know what?
And they put it together for the third period.
They put the pieces together for an excellent third period. A couple open net goals, and what a win tonight. Wolves have a lot to be proud of this evening.
Well, that's a big win tonight, and of course, anytime you can do that to London, you do it, because how many times over the course of the past several years, Coop, you know it, I've seen it, we've called games that haven't gone Sudbury's way against the Knights. So you know what, you take what you can get. Payback sometimes can feel real good on home ice.
As the players exit, we'll await the 3-star selection. But again, a special moment for Bjorn Brones making his debut. The question becomes, who do you play on Sunday afternoon? Wow. Do you play Brones again?
That's one of those things. It's going to be a coaching decision, and you know what? You can go Leonard, you can go Barones. I mean, there was a big debate as to whether or not Barones should play against Brampton or London. So again, you know, he comes through. Maybe you want to do that come Sunday.
Hudson Martin picking up the secondary assist on that Ewells goal, by the way, and Henderson picking up the primary assist. Second star tonight will be Kieran Walton. Big performance from him this evening, a goal and 2 assists, so a 3-point night for him. And by the way, we'll be hoping for the best for Mr. Alex Ferrand after taking that puck to the face as well late in that third period. He did get off the ice in his own strength, but went straight down the alley.
Anytime you get hit in the face below that visor coop, not a good thing.
So I believe Kieran Walton, second star. One of the London Knights skaters was third star. And they are just about to announce the first star selection.
It was probably O'Reilly with a couple of goals.
As Kieran Walton, good sport, signing a couple autographs, and it's the goaltender, Bjorn Brones, giving a salute to the crowd right now as first star.
First game, first star.
I can only imagine the whirlwind it's been for him. Your signs, hey, we need you to play tonight at the Sudbury Arena in front of a lively Friday night crowd, as he's posing for some photos as well. Bjorn, well done. Brones, who's going to be wearing number 31 for the Sudbury Wolves, picks up first star selection tonight. And he's also going to be doing some interviews right after too. Bit of a whirlwind. So we do a quick recap. Crazy one back in the first period. It was London scoring first, and frantically Waslin his 10th unassisted. And then Barahowski, if you look back, the Wolves only had, after the first period of play, they only had 2 shots on net total. And it was Barahowski scoring a power play marker to tie things up. That was a gift. It was a beautiful setup. Jump ahead to the second period. As I said, the Wolves actually outplayed London in that frame, outshooting them 12-11, getting a couple goals from Gonchar and Villeneuve. And then what a wild third period this was as well. As you mentioned, just setting up a beautiful final piece of artwork for the Sudbury Wolves to put on display in front of the fans here.
You know, it was good for Sudbury. Surprising to see how many times you see a London defenseman cough up the puck, not once, but twice, which led to goals. You don't normally see that, but again, like I said, it's not a rebuilding year for the London Knights because they're coming off a very successful season, winning the Memorial Cup, so they've got some big gaps. I mean, how do you replace Easton Cowan in your lineup and a couple of other players as well? So, but you know what? Mistakes happen. And more importantly, Sudbury took advantage of them. And I've got to give them full credit. Perhaps, you know, they've gone through some struggles, but full marks for the victory tonight.
Couple goals from O'Reilly on the London Knights side of things in the third period to make things really interesting. But again, Walton is 12th. Speaking of the mistakes, that one he did not make a mistake on, unassisted marker, and then 2 empty net goals. Chase Coughlin, his 8th unassisted, and then Gavin Ewells, the defenseman who doesn't find the back of that at a whole lot, but a big celebration on the Wolves bench as he gets his second from Rowan Henderson, and Hudson Martin picking up his 5th assist of the season as well. So now you look ahead, Wolves are on the road Sunday afternoon taking on Brampton. We haven't seen them a whole lot this season.
No, and that's a winnable game again for the Wolves. Brampton really struggling this season, so again, okay, you won last Saturday against Saginaw. You had a pretty good effort against Barrie, so now you've got a little bit of momentum going here. You win tonight, very impressive win against London of all teams. You take that to Brampton, you start building even more.
All right, well, that'll do it. Final score again here tonight at the Sudbury Community Arena. Sudbury 6, London Knights 3. On behalf of Rick Wyman, all the amazing crew back here at the Sudbury Community Arena, I'm Brian Cooper saying thank you so much for tuning in to Wolves Hockey. We'll talk to you again next time.